Mr. Garrett, you can commence the meeting now.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order. The first item up is the adoption of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda or a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor of going down the horn? Who's got a question? Okay, going down around the horn, Reverend Mack, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Darby,
Aye.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Mr. Frazier,
Aye.
Mr. Hollenshed,
Aye.
Ms. Jeffries,
Yes.
and I vote yes, and it's approved. The next item up is the, is there a motion to go into executive session?
Todd, did you call for my vote?
I apologize, Ms. Coates. I don't have it written down right here. I was in my screen. I couldn't see everybody. How do
So
you vote?
yes, I vote yes, and I also make a motion to go into executive session.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Go ahead.
I'm
Who's got a
sorry.
question?
Well,
I
don't
didn't
think
know
we
there
have
was
an
an
executive.
executive
We didn't
session
have
for
an executive
committee of the
session
whole.
items. There's
I
none.
apologize. I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah, there's none.
Yep. The next item up is review of public comments.
So there wasn't any public comments, I believe, that was submitted. Correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, then the first item up is the career and technology waiver request. Is there a motion or any on that to start discussion?
Okay, I move for approval. There is a question, but let's go ahead and get a second.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All right. Discussion or questions?
Ms. Coates.
This is not the one I had a question on.
Oh, there's
Karen.
not the one? Okay.
No,
All right.
and I think this is, if I'm correct, this is just about the principals and counselors. It has nothing to do with the actual teachers and students. I think it's a good idea.
Correct. Correct. All right.
Okay, then going around the horn, Ms. Coates, how do you vote?
Yes.
Mr. Hollenshed?
Aye.
Okay, Ms. Green?
Yes.
Mr. Frazier?
Aye.
Ms. Darby?
Yes.
Reverend Mack?
Yes.
Ms. Jeffries?
Yes.
And I vote yes. All right, the next item up is the Audit and Finance Committee review. We had the first reading of the annual budget and a contractual matter. We got back, got informed on the items there on your agenda. Does anybody have any questions on that?
Now move for approval.
Okay. For the first reading of, we don't have that on here for approval, correct?
Correct. That's just for information. You're
Okay,
right.
got it. All right. We will move forward to the next item, which is the naming of facilities, the Center for Advanced Studies in North Charleston area. Is there a motion on that one?
Question when,
Yes.
You gonna make a motion and then a question?
yes,
Are you gonna make?
I'll
a
make the motion.
Okay, go ahead.
Somebody second?
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right. Go ahead, Mr. Hollenshed.
And the name of, I don't have a problem with the name of the actual facility. I got contacted again from two of the members that was on that committee, and they originally agreed when they came before us last year that two of the rooms were to be named, since they didn't name the facility after an African-American, two of the rooms will be named after an African-American. And I understand it was Wheeler Hughes and Lizanna Hart, and Cindy, that is Mr. Sam Hart's mother, which is the oldest historian of Liberty Hill. And Wheeler Hughes was a retired principal of Charleston County Schools. So my concern is, I'm understanding the new current principal did not agree with that and removed that, so she overrided the committee. So I need a question or answer on that particular situation.
So, Reverend, Kevin, are you asking about the naming committee naming the rooms or the naming committee naming the facility?
Name of the rooms.
I don't think that's before us today. I'd love to have that conversation in the next couple of weeks.
Is that something that somebody from staff could follow up with Mr. Hollenshed on?
And Kevin, reach out. I'd like to have that
Yeah,
conversation.
I need to talk to you about that, Cindy.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on the Cooper River Center for Advanced Studies?
So I will tell you that I have asked the superintendent ahead of time. I don't want this on potential consent. There's a Reverend Collins that he's not on the call yet, but he feels very strongly that it should be named North Charleston. I've reached out to about 75 people. And honestly, it's mixed right now. So I'd like us to be able, as board members, to continue to get input on that and not vote for it as a consent agenda. That's all I ask for the board meeting.
Okay, all right, then here, no other discussion going down around the horn. Mr. Hollenshed?
Come back to me.
Okay, Ms. Coates,
I'm going to abstain until the board meeting.
Ms. Green?
What are we voting on? Whether we are,
Naming the Center for Advanced Studies, the Cooper River Center for Advanced Studies.
I oppose.
Okay, Ms. Jeffries,
Yes.
Mr. Frazier,
Yes.
Ms. Darby,
yes,
Reverend Mack.
Yes.
I vote yes. Going back to Mr. Hollenshed.
I oppose for now.
Okay. All right, Julie, do you have all that? Yes, she does. Okay, the next item up is the naming of the weight room at St. John's High School. Is there a
Move for
motion?
approval.
We've got a second?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on that? All right, going around the room, Mr. Hollenshed,
Aye.
Ms. Coates,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Ms. Jeffries,
Yes.
Mr. Frazier,
Aye.
Ms. Darby,
yes,
Reverend Mack.
Yes.
All right, and I vote yes. The next item up is the D2 football field. To name it, is there a motion on that?
move to approve, it's Kate.
All right,
Second.
there's- Second, okay, then any further discussion on that? All right, going down the list, Mr. Hollenshed,
Aye.
Ms. Coates,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Ms. Jeffries,
Yes.
Mr. Frazier,
Aye.
Ms. Darby.
Yes.
And Reverend Mack.
Yes.
All right, and I vote yes. The next item up is magnet schools and programs, suspension of a policy. Is there a
I'll move to
motion?
approve, and I think this is the one Ms. Coates had a question about.
Okay, we've got a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, Ms. Coates, your question on this?
So my question is, we have a policy that requires an address verification for these choice magnet schools. And I don't know how we're going to enforce that after they've enrolled and started their first day of school.
So Ms.
We have
Coates,
somebody from staff address.
yes, ma'am. I will do my best to answer that. There's a residency task force that met and suggested these changes. It's my understanding that currently the process is that the families are supposed to provide residency verification to the schools in paper format. They typically take those up to the clerks during the school before June 30th. And that gives the school time to, anybody that hadn't met that deadline, figure out, kind of what to do from there. There are two things that were an issue here. Obviously, the restrictions with COVID-19, with the social distancing and just not having people at the schools to be able to take those documents became an issue, especially for the returning magnet students, because there's typically those students don't really leave, it's my understanding. And a lot of them, pursuant to the changes that you all made, have already been grandfathered in to finish the program. And then secondly, because they are not opening, because of how everything kind of got pushed back because of COVID-19, the opening for residency verification, is my understanding, will not happen until June 8th. So this this suspension is not asking that people enroll in school and then show up and verify their address the day of. It's just asking that we change the date for those new enrolled students from outside Charleston County or new to the magnet school itself from June 30th to a date not later than the first day of school. And the board itself can set that date, or you can authorize the residency task force to set that date.
Okay, so if I understand you, the first part about the returning students is not the issue. The issue is if they have, you said something along the lines of they generally have to confirm residency in July. They're not going to confirm residency and then not show up. So we have to understand that when they show up is when when they enroll or accept is when we actually know who's who. And I'm not sure that this district has the capacity to go backwards and seek out tuition if they are out of county or any of the other things that have to be done. So I know we're in committee, but I'd like a better answer when we get to the board meeting to discuss this. I don't feel any more confident right now than I did before this meeting started that we will be able to assess the verification of residencies after the first day of school. So it may be that they come back and say that has to be done a week before school starts or August 1st. But before we get to the board meeting, I need something that makes me understand how the district is going to be capable of following that policy that requires the residency and tuition, in addition to asking for this waiver.
Hey, Dr. Postaway, will somebody be able to get Ms. Coates an answer before our next meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. We've got a motion and a second on this proposal going around the room. Reverend Mack,
Yes.
Ms. Darby,
Yes.
Mr. Frazier,
Aye.
Ms. Jeffries,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Ms. Coates,
Yes.
and Mr. Hollenshed.
Yes.
And I vote aye. Reverend Collins is still not on here, correct?
We're trying to get him on now, but he's not at this time.
Okay. All right. Going to the next item is the motion regarding the proposed school board meeting dates for the following year.
I believe that's just for information, correct?
Right.
No, it's
Okay, I've got it.
No, it's for action.
I've got
Oh.
it on action for mine.
Okay. Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on it? Okay. Mr. Hollenshed,
Aye.
Ms. Coates,
Yes.
Ms. Green,
Yes.
Ms. Jeffries,
Yes.
Mr. Frazier,
Aye.
Ms. Darby,
Aye.
Reverend Mack.
Yes.
All right, and I vote aye, and it passes. The next item up is just an announcement of our upcoming meetings. And if there are no questions on that, is there a motion to adjourn the committee of the whole meeting?
So moved.
All right.
Second.
Second, all in favor by saying aye? Aye.
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 All right, thank you very much. And Dr. Postaway, are there instructions for us for the next meeting?
There are.